Hey everybody, welcome back to the Mass Retirees Weekly Update. Today's Friday, October 28th. I'm Sean Duhamel. Thank you so much for joining with us and tuning in again this week. Now, the focus of this week's message is on healthcare and specifically on Medicare healthcare. But before I get into that, let me first remind everybody that we have a series of local area meetings coming up through the end of this year. Starting a week from today, November 4th at 11 a.m., we will be out in West Springfield at the Sturton Tavern. It's on the grounds of the Big E. Again, it kicks off at 11 a.m. Our area meetings are open to all Mass Retirees members, and you're welcome to bring a guest if you would like. But we are really excited to be able to once again get out there and hold these area meetings, and we're going to plan, or we are planning to hold a more regular schedule of meetings again starting in 2023. But we really wanted to end the current year strong, so we'll be in West Springfield again next Friday, followed by down on the south coast of Massachusetts at Whites of Westport the Friday before Thanksgiving, which I believe is November 18th, followed by our final area meeting of the year in Central Mass in Auburn at the Auburn Elks. That takes place on Friday, December 16th. Now, all of our in-person area meetings kick off at 11 a.m. They generally last an hour to an hour and a half with Q&A. Again, they're open to all of our members. Now, obviously, we have a great number of members who either live outside of the area, find it difficult to getting to in-person meetings for a variety of reasons, or just don't feel comfortable being out in public around a big group of people for an hour, hour and a half with COVID-19 still very much a part of our day-to-day life. And we understand that, and we respect that. We are going to continue to hold our virtual teletown hall events indefinitely. These have been proven to be very popular with our members. As a matter of fact, our recent teletown hall event, we had 4,600 members join that call, which is an unbelievable number. And it just shows the value of using all of these different tools to communicate with you. But the fact remains that it's wonderful to see people in person, to have that kind of connection. So if you are available, if you're comfortable with coming to an in-person meeting, we're looking forward to seeing you in the coming months. So we try to hold these meetings in as many different locations around the state as we can. We are still looking at the option of coming back down to Florida this coming winter. We haven't made any final decisions on that. I know the impact of the hurricane on the Gulf Coast and the disruption it's caused and the devastation it's caused with a good number of our members is really heartbreaking. So we will be making those announcements probably within our January newsletter of what our plans are heading into 2023. But let me jump into the news of the week. If you've been watching TV or looking at your mail, you may have noticed that once again you're seeing a large number of Medicare ads, ads for Medicare supplement plans, ads for Medicare Advantage plans, with all kinds of fancy sales pitches to entice you to drop your GIC insurance or your local health insurance and enroll in one of these private Medicare Advantage plans. Now, we're not in the business of telling you what to do, but our advice to our members is do not enroll in these plans. If something seems too good to be true, as my mother always still reminds me to this very day, it almost always is. And even though these plans seem very attractive, because in some cases they're advertising that there is no monthly premium, that is virtually free. Well, all of us have come to realize that there is no such thing in life as a free lunch. At the end of the day, there's a cost to everything. Somebody has to pay that cost. And in some instances, there have been reports of a bit of a bait and switch going on where retirees could enroll in one of these plans and they work wonderfully if you're healthy or relatively healthy. But if all of a sudden something happens that you need to access, regular, services through your health insurance plan, the co-payments and any kind of out-of-pocket costs could add up pretty quick. And the fact remains that the health insurance benefits that all of you have access to, whether they be the Medicare plans or the non-Medicare plans that are offered here in Massachusetts, either through the state or the cities and towns, the various healthcare group purchasers out there like Maya, the Mayflower Group, the Cape Cod Municipal Health Group, and so forth. There are 11 or 12 purchasing groups across the state. Every single one of these entities and the benefits that they're offering you are really second to none. We hear this all the time with the various retiree organizations that we work with across the country, that the health insurance benefits that we have here in Massachusetts, that all of you have access to, by far have far greater quality of benefits at a much more affordable price than what most other retirees around the country have access to. And this is true whether or not you're a public sector retiree or private sector retiree. So we are very, very fortunate here in Massachusetts to have access to those kind of benefits. Now, this past week, myself and my wife, we were reminded of this fact. My wife's fine, but she had shoulder surgery this past Monday, and the benefits that we receive through Blue Cross, we have Blue Cross Blue Shield, I think it's Network Blue, it's their HMO, but we've had no problems whatsoever, whether it was scheduling the appointment, the co-payment and the deductible. While we did have to pay something, it was relatively minor cost incurred by us, considering the procedure that she had and all of the services that she will need to have over the coming weeks as she recovers from this. So it really hits home just how important all of this is, and really just how fortunate we are to have access to this type of coverage. Because let's face it, if you get injured or you're sick or your loved one is facing some type of a medical problem, the last thing that anyone wants to have to worry about is insurance and navigating the complications that come with insurance. Because let's face it, even for someone like myself and our team here at Mass Retirees who work with these issues day in and day out, it can still be extremely confusing. And the last thing anyone needs to worry about is being confused by what's covered, what's not covered, what you have to do, what you don't have to do, and then at the end of the day have the potential to be faced with some type of exorbitant cost from the hospital or the doctors in the aftermath of receiving some type of health care. So again, it just really reinforced to me, not that it really had to be reinforced, but there's nothing like personal experience. So while I was waiting for her to come out of her procedure and going through the surgery, these were the types of things I was thinking about. And then seeing these ads run on TV when I was waiting, that seemed like every other ad had something to do with Medicare. So the light bulb went off as this is something we really need to focus on. And I know that Cheryl Stillman, our insurance coordinator, continues to remind me that she receives these types of questions and phone calls quite frequently. So at the end of the day, the bottom line is ignore the ads you're seeing on TV. If you receive any of these types of solicitations from these private plans, if the solicitation or the information is not coming from the GIC or from Blue Cross or from Point 32, which is the parent company of Harvard Pilgrim and Tufts, if the information you're receiving is not directly connected to your public retirement, throw it in the garbage, ignore it. If you have any questions or doubts, give us a call here at Mass Retirees. This is what we're here for, is to provide this type of service for all of you. But the last thing you want to do is give up your public retiree health insurance to enroll in what most likely will become an inferior plan that just isn't going to provide the type of coverage that you all need. So with that, I'm going to sign off for today. I hope to see many of you in person in the near future. By now, you should have received your November newsletter. Please remember to vote regardless of who you vote for. The important thing is that you participate in the democratic process, that you get out there, you let your voice be heard by having your vote be heard. And we look forward to what's going to come in the future, and we will be back to you again next week with an update. Take care, everybody.